Hello again, welcome to the MasterCAM courses. In that lecture, we're gonna talk about how can we create that kind of product by using the MasterCAM. Okay, I'm gonna use the MasterCAM. Okay, this is the MasterCAM part, and we can use the file open options, and then we need to select all files options, and then we just need to double click on our SolidWorks part. Okay, and then we're gonna see that kind of screen here. And after that, you know that we need to focus on the right mouse button and isometric perspective, and then we need to use the transform and the rotate options. Of course, before that we need to organize our C plane. I need to change my C plane to right. This is the right, and Z axis can be on this way. According to that and the C plane, we can use the transform and rotate options, and then we need to select our model and hit the end selection button, and then we just need to write my degree here. Oops, this is my degree. We prefer to use the dots and approach here. Let me turn back to right again. Okay, this is the right plane, SSC plane, and then this is the rotation degree, and then we can click on the move type and then hit the OK button. After that, we can use the right mouse button and clear color options, and after that we can turn to the top view again. And after that, let me turn back to the wireframe and rectangle and bounding box options, this one, and select our solid model and hit the end selection button. You need to be careful about that. We need to work with the 3D options and rectangular, and then let me hit OK button. And then we need to create line endpoints. We need to create our diagonal line, and then we can hit the transform and move the origin. I just need to select the midpoint of that line. Okay, so after that we can use the right mouse button again, so we can delete that diagonal line. Okay, and that's it, and we are ready to create our toolpath right now. Okay, let me save my file. So this is the homework 1. This is the education and the license for MasterCAM. And after that, we can turn to machine. Default machine can be selected. And after that, let me create my, this is my homework page. Okay, so this is my tool list, 10 millimeters flat end mill, and then we need to turn to the face toolpath. So let me turn to the MasterCAM and use the right mouse button, mill toolpath, and the face toolpath. And after that, we need to select that chain as a face toolpath area, and then hit the OK button. And then we need to turn to the tool options and right mouse button to create tool, end mill, next button, and the finish button. And then this is my feed rate. Okay, this is my feed rate per teeth, and this is my cutting speed. Okay, and let me write my cutting speed here, and my feed rate and spindle speed is calculated. Anyway, let's talk about the linking parameters. It can be absolute, absolute, and absolute. Absolute position can be selected, and the 0. Let me turn to the cut parameters. It must be 0, and then we need to organize our step over. It's a 5 millimeter, and then we can turn to our roughing degree here, and then we can also prefer to use high speed toolpath for zigzag method, and then activate the high speed loops, and then that's it. We just need to hit OK button. So we're gonna see that kind of toolpath. Anyway, and then we can hit this one to display our toolpath. Anyway, and after that actually we create our face toolpath. Okay, let's create our pocket toolpath. Let me turn to here. When we are creating our pocket toolpath, actually we're gonna focus on this area first. So of course before that we need to turn back to the 2D, and Z position can be 10 millimeter, maybe it's not important. And then I can use the wireframe and the curve on edge options, and then we can select this edge, this edge, this edge, and this edge. It's okay. This is my rectangles actually. And to be able to, on the safe side, maybe we should extend our tool and extend our the line. So I can hit here, modify length options, and maybe we should write here 6 millimeter because we're gonna use the 10 millimeters tool. And then we can extend this line, this line, this line, and this line. And after that we can use the line parallel options, and we can select this one and this one, this one and this point, and after that we can delete that line. Oops, sorry. We can also use modify length and 6 millimeter extend for this one. And actually we can also extend this line and this line. And then let me turn to here and line parallel line, and we can select this one and this point. And then we can delete this one. Okay, when we turn to the right mouse button and the top view, so we're gonna see that's kind of and actually rectangle. Anyway, that's it. And after that, let me turn to the save file options, and then we can also use the right mouse button and the mill toolpath and the pocket operation, and we can select this chain and hit the OK button, and then we can select the same tool, 10 millimeter, and the same feed rate, this one, and also my cutting speed. Okay, and yeah, that's it. After that we can turn to the linking parameters. We can hit the absolute, and absolute, it can be 0 and absolute, and then we can hit the depth button, and then we can select this area. Okay, 0 to -35. So we can turn to the cut parameters. It can be 0 to 0, and we can prefer to use the conventional machining direction with the standard pocket type. And then we can turn to the roughing. So we prefer to use the parallel spiral clean corner, and we can select the and unselect this part to create our toolpath outside to inside. And we can turn to the entry motion and prefer to ramp entry. And then we can also reactivate finishing operation. I don't want to see any finished toolpath. So we're gonna cut this area 0 to -35. We can turn to the depth cuts, activate this one, and then we can write 5 millimeter, and then hit the OK button. So we're gonna see that's kind of toolpath. Okay, that's it. And let's focus on this one. And then we can turn to the 3D again, 3D options, and we can turn to the curve on the edge options again, and we can select this one, this one, this one, this one, this edge, and this edge. Okay, that's it. Let me turn to here. Okay, I just need to copy that toolpath and paste it here, and then activate that button. And then we can turn to the geometry and delete this one by using the right mouse button and add new one. So we can activate this one. Okay, and then we can turn to the parameters and linking parameters. So when we turn to here, top of stock can be this point, This is minus 35, and depth can be this point. This is minus 60. And then hit the OK button, and then we can select this one. Okay, and this toolpath is calculated automatically. Anyway, that's it. Let me save my file again. Okay, let's focus on this area. We also need to create some pocket operation here. I can turn to the 2D with the 10 millimeters Z position again and curve on the edge options, and we can create this line like this. Okay, and then I can turn to the modify length options, and we can modify our distance like this one, and then we can turn to the line endpoints, and horizontal line can be selected, and we can start from here, and then we need to select that point, and then we can turn to the freeform again, and then we can select this one and this one. Okay, that's it. I can copy that toolpath and paste it here and activate that button and geometry, and we can delete this one, add new one, and we can select this geometry here, and then I need to turn to the parameters. It can be 0 top of stock, and my depth can be on this position. And then let me recalculate my toolpath again. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so when we create all that toolpath, we can save my file, and we can turn to the stock setup here, and then this is the rectangular, and we can turn to the here, actually rectangle shapes. We can click here. Okay, and then we can hit the here. We can easily select our model. Okay, we need to be focused on the 3D, of course, and then hit the OK button, and then my stock setup is calculated. And then let me turn to the wireframe operation here, and then we're gonna see our actually simulation, and then we're gonna see that kind of toolpath is created. Anyway, okay, let's focus on the drilling process. To be able to create my drilling process, we can also turn to the 3D and curve on the edge options, select this one and this one. I need to use the right mouse button again, mill toolpath, and then drilling operation. And then I just need to select this point and hit the OK button. And then let me turn to here and create my new tool. My drilling operation can be selected like this. Let me turn to my presentation again. This is the actually feed rate and spindle speed. So I just need to write my spindle speed here and my feed rate here. Okay, let me turn to the actually cut parameters. This is the normal drilling cycling process. And then leaking parameters, it can be actually incremental 5 and incremental 0, and incremental depth can be on this position. Okay, this is the minus 35. Incremental is quite important. Okay, when you select the incremental, geometry can be referenced. Okay, that's it. This is the actually drilling process. We can also turn to the verification, and then we can activate this button, and then we're gonna see that our drilling process here. Okay, anyway, everything seems fine right now. Anyway, let's focus on the 3-axis and contour toolpath. Okay, this one, and 3-axis contour toolpath. To be able to create my contour toolpath, actually we need to extract our surface. How can we extract our surface? We can turn to here, surface, okay, and then we can use these options, surface from solid, and then we can select this face and this face, and then we just need to hit OK button. Okay, this is my face. After that, we can also use here, actually, when we turn to the here, actually we can also use extend face options. You know that this is my face, it's okay. We're gonna create our toolpath, but we need to extend that face. Okay, so how can we extend that face? So we can turn to here. We can see that trim to curves, trim to surface options here, and then we can see here extend face options. Okay, so let me select my face and drag that arrow here, and then we can extend our face according to my tool diameter. This is the 12 millimeter, so it means that we can extend that face with 15 millimeter. And then we can also select this one, and this one, and this one. Okay, it's fine. And after that, actually we are working on the 3D and curve on edge options, and then I just need to create some edge here like this one. And after that, I need to turn to my C-plane. My C-plane can be right, and then surface and the draft face, and then I just need to select this one and hit the OK button. So you're gonna see that that kind of face is created automatically. Okay, according to my tool diameter, it can be and like this one. Okay, that's it. We can turn to the C-plane to top again, and then let me focus on the 3D options again, and then curve and curve on edge options, and then we can easily create our curve like this one, and we can also create for this one. After that, we have this line and this line, and after that we can turn to the 2D, and then we can turn to the transform and project options, and we can select this one and hit the end selection. So our geometry is going to be projected like this one. We can prefer to use the copy options and OK button, and then we can use the right mouse button and clear color options. After that, we can turn to the wireframe and line endpoints, and then we can create that kind of line here. Okay, this line and this line. Okay, it's okay. So we have face and boundary. So we can easily save our file, of course, and then we can use mill toolpath, surface finish toolpath, and contour toolpath. And then we can select this face, and this face, and hit the enter button, and then we can select our boundary and hit the OK button. So we can create our new tool. I need to select the bool and mill. Next button. This is actually tool radius, can be 2 millimeter with that diameter. Okay, so when we turn to the presentation, this is my feed rate and cutting speed. Okay, according to actually that perspective, we can see that this is my feed rate and my cutting speed. So we can turn to the MasterCAM and write our feed rate here, and then this is my cutting speed. If I am using this one, it means that actually my feed rate and my spindle speed is calculated according to and this cutting speed. So when you change our cutting speed, for example, if I am using the 200, it means that my spindle speed and the feed rate and it's gonna be actually better than the previous one, but we're gonna see here and the tool wear, okay, is not good for us. And when we consider the tool wear, okay, when you use the 200 cutting speed, it means that we're gonna see actually more tool wear after that process. But if you use this one as a cutting speed, your tool wear and is going to be better than the 200. So this is the best way to see the less tool wear in your process. But of course that's also reduce our the feed rate. So when you increase your cutting speed, actually you can also see that your feed rate and spindle speed also increase. But when you reduce to cutting speed, it means that your feed rate and spindle speed is also reduced. But of course, when you use when you increase your cutting speed, actually your tool wear is also increased. So there is some balance here. You need to organize your cutting speed and exactly the optimum point. So this is quite important. Okay, let me turn to our toolpath process. When we turn to the surface parameters, it can be obsolete with 3 and feed plane incremental 1, and it can be 0 to 0, and we can also prefer to use inside options. This is my boundary relationship with the tool and the containment, and then we can turn to the finish contour parameters. So it can be the 0.35 and conventional machining and zigzag machining, and we can also prefer to use the optimized cut order, and then we can turn to the here. It can be like this, and we can also select the incremental approach 0 to 0, and then we can calculate our toolpath, and then we're gonna see that kind of toolpath. Okay, you can see that all that face and can be created like this. Okay, so perfect, and let's focus on this one. Okay, let me turn to the surface and surface from solid. I can select this one and this one and this one. Okay, we can easily create that kind of actually line. Okay, this is my surface, and then let me turn to here, and we can also extend that face. Actually, it's easy for us. We can turn to the extend options, and we can select this one, and then we're gonna see that kind of error here. So okay, anyway, and we can handle this problem. So how can we handle that problem actually? So actually we need to create some plane here. It is quite easy to create our plane. Let me turn to the plane options, and here, and we can hit that button to create my plane, and then we can easily create our plane and by using the geometry, or we can also prefer to use this one from the solid face, and then I just need to select this one. So when we select this one, we can see that this is the X, Y, and Z axis is created, and we can easily change our position like this one. Okay, let me turn to the here, this one, and this one. Okay, anyway, and let me focus this one actually, and we can hit here, and then this coordinate is not important. We can write here and the VCS 1, and then this is my the VCS actually, And then we can also rotate that VCS. So I can use the right mouse button, and then we can prefer to use the rotate incremental VCS here. And according to this perspective, we can rotate our VCS by using the X-axis. On the X-axis, we can rotate our VCS like with that degree. Okay, so that's it. Okay, this is my VCS. So it's cool. And then we can turn to the here to turn to this VCS. Okay, after that process, we can working on the 3D right now, and then wireframe and curve on the edge options, and then we can create some curve here. According to this curve, we can also use the modify length here and select this one or more maybe. Let me click this one again, and it can be maybe 20 millimeters, I don't know, like this one. Okay, so we can also extend this part. Anyway, after that, when we focus here, we can also create new curve here, and oops, this one. Okay, so we have some curve here. So according to that perspective, we need to extend and line this one, and then we are working on this piece and the VCS. So I can turn to the C plane and Z axis. I can hit this one. This is the -17, and then we can turn to the transform and project options, and then we can select this line, this line, this line, and this line, and hit the end selection button. So we can easily project all that line here. And then let me turn to this one. Okay, it's okay. And after that, let me turn to the face and roulette face or loft face, and we can turn to the here and the single options, and then we can select this one and this one and hit OK button. Okay, we can easily create our and the face here and here. Okay, and then we can hit the blue OK button to create our and the face. We can select this one and this one as well, and then you're gonna see that kind of face here. Okay, and according to this perspective, and let me select all that face, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and then I can easily use the transform and mirror options, and according to mirror options, we can prefer to use actually X-axis. So this is actually Y and Z axis plane. Okay, let me turn to here. We can prefer to use the rotate options. Select this one, and this one, and then we can click here, and of course, and we need to change our VCS again for this perspective. And how can I use the and this approach? I don't know, and maybe we should turn to the mirror again. This is actually X, sorry, we don't have and X axis and Y axis, but actually we don't have the Z axis, so we cannot use this one as well. And maybe we should prefer to use the vector and this one, and we can select this vector. Yeah, this vector is not correct right now, and I need to turn to here, and then we need to select this vector. According to this vector, yeah, you know that That's not possible right now. By using the DATS VCS, we cannot use the rotate or other stuff. Anyway, let's turn to the 70 here. I change my Z position. We are working to 2D. And then it's easy. We just need to use project options again and select this one, this one, this one, and this one, and hit the Enter button. And then don't forget to use actually, yeah, this one. But actually, when we consider here, there is some and a problem here. Okay, so we need to write here, for example, like this one. Okay, so I changed the distance. Anyway, and we can turn to the Z position here. This is the 18. Anyway, and let's delete this line. And then we can create new one by using the 3D. I can start from here to here. Anyway, that's okay. Let me turn to the surface and the loft and the single options. We can start from this one. Yeah, we don't have any curve here, sorry. And let me create some curve here. Wireframe, curve on edge options. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, and then we can turn to the loft options. With the single, we can prefer to use this one and this one. It's okay. This one and this one. This one and this one. We can also prefer to use the chain options, but this is the best way to get your G code actually. Anyway, okay, that's it. And after that is everything fine. And we have some line here. Is that right? Okay, let me check. Yes, we have some line here. And then we can turn to the C plane, or we can also turn to the plane options here. Let me turn to the plane, and we can turn to the top plane. And according to top plane, we can turn to the 2D and Z position with -30. And then we can prefer to use the parallel line. Select this one and this one. This is the parallel line. Okay, it can be like this. And then we have some parallel line here. It's okay. And then actually we can easily create some line here. But actually when we are creating our line, when we turn to the top view, you're gonna see that we need to create that kind of line here. Okay, so this is the parallel. So that's why I hit the top view. Anyway, okay, that's okay. We can turn to the surface, oops, and the loft boundary, and the single options, this one and this one. And then we can hit the OK button, and then we're gonna get that kind of actually face here. Anyway, after that I can turn to the 2D and 10mm position. We can select this one and okay. And then we can easily use the transform and project options. Okay, this line is projected like this one. And then actually we can turn to the wireframe line entities. We can select this point and this point, oops, this point and this point, and then we're gonna see that kind of line here, and this one and this one. It's okay. We have boundary and face, and then let's create our toolpath. So I can copy that toolpath and pass it here. We can turn to the geometry. I can delete this one and add new one. Oops, sorry. And actually, let me turn to the here. We can turn to the here. This is the all entities or only entities. I prefer to use the only and this one. And then we can get some and the rectangles and hit the OK button. And after that, we can select our nib and boundary by using the chain options. We can select this one and hit the OK button and hit another OK button and then recalculate our toolpath. So when we recalculate our toolpath, we're gonna see that kind of toolpaths here. Okay, for finishing. Anyway, so yeah, that's okay. And if you can use, you can also use some roughing options as well. Okay, anyway, let's turn to the verification and hit the OK button, play button, and then we're gonna see all that product is created. Okay, and that's it. And thank you very much for listening to me. I really appreciate your interest. If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me any question. I'm here to answer your question. And thank you very much.